Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Fitzpatrick. Some of you know me as Dr. Lisa on the street. Did you know, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, at least 1 in 5 of us, that's 20%, have a mental health condition. But we're not talking about it. And at a time like this, when we've seen the highest levels of anxiety and depression we've seen in this country in a long time, we really should be talking about this. But unfortunately, it's a taboo subject, or it's stigmatized. I wanted to talk to a friend of mine, Dr. David Malbranch, who sees a lot of anxiety and depression in his practice, about why he thinks we're not talking about mental health.
Everything obviously tracks back to slavery and the way the generational trauma, physical and then psychological, that kind of continues, and kind of the continued trauma that we talk about today that's still happening to this day, that we're seeing enacted in different kind of evolutionized ways through politics or through other people, where they find a different way to exert, white supremacy or racism and traumatize us even further.
I also went to the community and asked people what they thought about mental health and why we're not talking about it.
Mental health was never really taught to me. Going through those trials and tribulations of that. But me, myself, I always felt it, knew it, but never could really express it.
This is my first opportunity that I've come across someone who is talking on mental health.
Really? Do you think we should be talking about it more?
Yeah, very essential, because it's important.
I wouldn't be here without going to therapy. I wouldn't be on this earth without going to therapy.
So there are a lot of reasons we aren't talking about these things, especially in the Black community.
Being in a constant state of survival almost hinders one from focusing on mental health. We have, a notion that other things are more important. So it's like, I don't have time to focus on mental health because bills are due. Or I don't have time to focus on mental health because I got to make sure I get home safely on the sidewalk, or I got to make sure, I'm not racially profiled, or whatever it is.
Quite often, it's been seen as a sign of weakness, and yet the reality is that if you're human, at different points in your life, you are going to have stresses that make you maybe a little bit more emotionally unsettled.
We have to make it okay to say, I'm not okay, or I need help.
Not only is it because it's not necessarily looked upon favorably, but also because quite often when you go to places and you try to gain mental health services, you're not actually necessarily able to access the services that are necessary. So I think a combination of stigma, shame, and lack of access.
So I also ask people what they do to cope when they feel a little sad, depressed, lonely, or if they've got the blues.
Just being aware of myself, like body, where I am, and in that moment, instead of rattling things off in my head that I can't control, which has been a hard thing for myself, especially being in a space that wasn't built for me. So I always have to be present where I am and where I come from so I can stay grounded.
Massage and facial.
The massage and facial, yes. There are things you can do, just like we heard. You can call someone, do something relaxing. Maybe that's going to the spa, dancing, singing. But if you feel you need more help, or maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to people you know, there are people out there on standby waiting to take your phone call. If you want to tell us your story about your mental health condition, or if you have questions or need us to help you get connected to the services you need, contact us at Grapevine Health.
We end up taking the brunt of everything and trying to be stronger, of not prioritizing ourselves, of putting everybody else first. Think of it this way: therapy is a wonderful mechanism where probably for the first time in your life, you get to talk about yourself.
I'm Dr. Lisa, and I'll see you on the street.